Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. What I have done is opened a pint jar of chopped diced tomatoes that I had done. I blended it up and I put it in with a piece of onion and 2 tablespoons of butter, and I am making a tomato sauce. This has been going for a while. I also have veal cutlets here. I bought a pound of them, which is approximately 6 of them. I took some discard that I had and I put garlic powder, white pepper, and summer savory on it, and I am at this point getting ready to mix it. I don't know what I'm going to coat them with yet. In the grains, I don't know if I'm going to use wheat germ or I just don't know, breadcrumbs. Whatever I find, I'll think of something, or maybe some different flours. But when you use the discard, you have to make sure that you coat these, because the discard is thick. It's not like eggs and stuff that you use, egg or milk, where it comes slimes off. So when you rinse your meat off and you pat it dry and then you put the discard on it, it's like glue. That's why you put the seasonings into it, so it'll hold on to the meat. So the discard is really, really good. And the fact that it does do that also makes excellent sourdoughs, be it rolls or whatever. It also goes well in biscuits and muffins and quick breads and all sorts of things, and it's good for your body as well. So right now that's what I'm doing. I'm coating them thoroughly to make sure they're thoroughly coated. Look, see how it sticks? It doesn't come off. This is why it's so good. I'm sure women used discard before. I just decided to try it one day and see what would happen, you know, because you use egg and milk, creams and stuff. And I said it really doesn't, you know, hold if you put seasonings into it. So by doing it this way, I know the seasonings are sticking. And they stay put. So when I do it and I flour them or breadcrumb them or whatever I'm going to do, I know the seasonings will stay, and that's the whole object of it. Let me go ahead and I can show you right now. This is it. This is exactly what I just did. I told you. I was listening to some news for a bit while I did that, and I figured, well, you pretty much know how to mix things like this, so I could leave that part out. So let me get my stuff together. I'm going to use some incorn flour. This is an ancient grain from yesteryear, before they started changing our grains and crossbreeding and all. This is the natural grain. It's got a nice flavor on it. You have to treat it different though. You can't do a lot with it. I was shocked how it was done, but I've got another culture going and I'll show you how I make this. Now, I had some flour that had seasonings in it, so I decided I'll just throw them in. If you ask me what seasonings, I have no idea, because I think all of you know by now I do collect those. And I just reuse them and reuse them so there's less weight. If you want the best to fry this in, olive oil and butter, but if you don't have that, peanut oil and butter go very well together. Also make sure that you put enough in that when you cook, the veal cutlets are going to cook within minutes, like chicken cutlets and pork cutlets, or Wiener Schnitzels, that's the German name for it, and that you have enough that it doesn't stick to the bottom, so it sort of like floats a little. You're like semi-frying it but not frying it. So I'll move you over here as we do this. And I will be, well, wait a minute, we have to take care of the this meat first. Put it here because it's going to sit a bit. So if you do like cube steaks and you notice the flour and stuff comes off, it's because you don't have enough butter or oil that it can sort of sit up and you have that oil underneath and just put a little bit, it's going to stick to your pans unless you have no stick. Then I'm sure it won't stick. Nothing sticks to those. I have to buy one, and I really don't want to buy one, but I might have to for one dish that I made. That's why omelets are so easy to make now, and crepes is because of that. I'm flouring these, and I'm putting them on a grill. I mean, a rack. And what I'm going to do is that I use summer savory, white pepper, and garlic salt. And what I'm going to do with them when they're done cooking and I put them on the plate, I'm going to put tomato sauce on them and Parmigiano or Romano cheese, whichever one you want. And I'm going to serve it like that. I don't want to put it in the oven and cook it because these things cook very quickly because they're very, very thin. A lot of people say, I'm going to cook it till they're brown. You do that, you end up overcooking them, and then they become tough. So you have to remember when you do this, be gentle, as they say. Press it to make sure it sticks. If you don't, it won't. Okay, now we're going to have to let these sit about 5 minutes. And some of you have some really nasty comments, and there's no need. If you don't like the videos or the dishes I make, please do not wash. Do not leave your negative comments behind. Other people who don't know how to cook are wanting to learn, and they don't need to hear from you and your negativity. If I don't dance in the kitchen and do what you want, just leave, you know? If you don't like what I teach, that's fine. Go somewhere else. If you want somebody jumping around screaming and yelling at you, go ahead. Flash all those colors and everything, please. Go. I'm not a clown, and I'm not going to sit there and put my porcelain up to the glass and say, ooh, isn't this good? No, you're not going to get that from me. I'm sorry. I'm not that type of person. I don't do that. I can laugh and I can joke and I'll play games with you and stuff, but you don't have to be insulting. I didn't ask you. If you wish to play, the games are there. If you don't want to learn about nutrition, leave. If you don't want recipes, leave. If you don't want to join and pay $2.99 for some special recipes, fine, I don't care. It's not right for you to pick on people. If you have to pick on somebody, it's because you don't have any self-esteem in yourself. When I was young, I didn't know everything. When I was middle-aged, I still didn't. I was still learning from the elders who were older than me. I learned from each generation that was above me. They taught me many things, and I learned many things, but I was also very respectful to all of them. They had a time that they lived, and they remember what it was like. I don't have to read the books about Vietnam. I was in that time. Do I know about the riots and the civil rights? Yeah, I lived through that too. I lived through racism as well. I grew up in a town. The whites were in the middle, the blacks were on one side, the Spanish were on the other. Never let those two get together. That's what they said. You know, I remember because I had a girlfriend. Her name was Sandy, but she was Spanish. I remember when the city council came to the house and confronted my parents about it because Sandy and I were very good friends. And they tried to explain to me that we had to stick to our own kind, and I had a very hard time understanding that. And they sat there, and I look at a little girl. I'm like 9 years old. We're talking about a very young girl. I was at the time. And they told me that they tried to explain it to me. And I listened attentively to what they had to say. And I said, are you telling me that if you skinned Sandy and I and lay us side by side, you could tell who's who? I was sent to my bedroom when I asked that question. And what happened was they went to Sandy's parents and they told them what they were going to do to them and to her daughter if Sandy didn't cut her relationship with me. I went to school and she told me, I can't talk to you anymore. I have to stay away from you, Sandy. They're going to hurt my mommy and daddy. Very confused. Children don't need things like that. I went through all that. It's a lot. I'm glad that I had people around me who weren't that way. Like Nanu. I said, Nanu, do you go to church? He said, no. I said, why? He said, because I'm angry with God. And I said that I will be angry with God as well. Because he's my grandfather. I love my grandfather. And he grabbed me, turned me around to look at him, and he said, he squatted down, because I was little still, and he sat there and said, no. God and I are having an argument. You stay out of our argument. We'll work it out in time. But you keep your faith with God. Okay? It's just that God angered me a bit, and I'm a bit angry about it, but I'll get over it. That's what Nanu told me. So I stayed with God, and I prayed that Nanu and God would work their problems out. You know, this is what children do. But I grew up in that time, though I am not a racist. I mean, I took friends from all colors and all cultures, and being in a naval base, that was standard. We ended up with everybody down there. So I've grown through it. So I don't need somebody to tell me about racism. I don't need somebody to tell me about Vietnam. I don't need the insults that I have to stick to my own kind. I don't need anybody to tell me these things. I lived through it. I remember. So going around and insulting the elders, if you, like I said, if you don't like what I talk about, you don't like nutrition, you don't like the way I cook everything, leave. There are people that want to learn. And it doesn't mean I'm looking for millions of people. I'm here to help people who want to learn. If it's a small group, may it be a small group. If it's a large group, be it a large group. They have ideas, they can share them with me. I have no problem with that. We talk, fine. But there's no reason to be insulting to people. And by the way, I deleted your message. It was uncalled for. Yeah, I should figure it. So remember, when you do cutlets, you have to cook them very, very fast. You can have different cutlets and you can prepare them differently. But I have a game I want to play today with you, if you don't mind. Do I know what I'm going to make next week? No, I haven't even done that yet, so I couldn't even tell you what's coming up. I've had a crazy week. Spend more time outside shoveling than I want to. Well, that one is good, but these have had more time. I'm just reflouring these, which I've talked about. And press it so the flour sticks to it, and the seasonings, because that's what you want. Yeah, I know, I better turn that over. But I'll show you that you can see the seasoning sticking on it. as you can see, they really don't get dark, but you can see the seasoning sticking to them, see? They do stick to them. That's why I love the discard. This makes it so easy. What am I going to serve with this? I was thinking about serving mashed potatoes with these. I thought that would be very interesting to do. I'm going to turn you a bit there so I can get here without putting so much flour on the floor. See, it doesn't take long. The dark spots you see on it are actually the seasoning. That's why I say it's really great. So I have it like on a medium high. That's why it's cooking so fast, because it's thin. If you have a low flame, the longer you cook them, the tougher it's going to be. That's why I do it at a higher one, so I can sit there and do what I have to do and get it out, in and out in a hurry. So these veal cutlets will be served different. I like the idea of putting tomato sauce on them, and then I'll grate a Parmesan on them. I know a salad will go with it, but I want to serve mashed potatoes with this. So people would say, but you got tomato sauce. I know, but I just think mashed potatoes would really be nice. All I have to do is decide which one I want to make. Because I've shown you, what, 4 or 5? I do love the truffle one. So partial to that couple mashed potatoes. I think I could eat the whole thing. So I've got 2 more to do, and I will be back when I finish them, and I'll show you them. Okay, here they are. I overcooked the last one. I was busy doing something. You have to keep an eye on. They do cook very quickly. But anyway, take care and have a great day.